Right at the start, a young woman introduces us to the concept of an ancient fruit that grants special abilities, emphasizing how humans should use these gifts to walk a path of light toward the future. Following this, we meet Lena, a curious and energetic girl who chats with her friend Light about the incredible powers of the ancestral fruit. She asks what ability he'd choose if given the chance. Light lists a few ideas, but admits his true desire is for a combat-focused ability, as his lifelong dream is to become an adventurer. Hearing this, Lena fondly remembers how Light has talked about being an adventurer since they were kids, and it makes her emotional, knowing that his dream is finally about to come true. Turning the question back to her, Light asks Lena what kind of ability she'd like. She shares that she wants something that would allow her to pursue the same career as him, because she dreams of being an adventurer by his side. However, there's always uncertainty. No one knows what ability they'll receive from the fruit beforehand. It's entirely up to chance. Sensing Lena's hesitation, Light reassures her, confidently declaring that they'll become the greatest adventurers of all time. But, as life often goes, things didn't turn out as planned. Light is now working on a farm, tending to gardens and crops with a forced smile. Though he gives it his all, this rural life only makes him feel further away from his childhood dream. 3 months earlier, when Light ate the celestial fruit, he was granted an unexpected ability suited for agriculture. While useful, it was far from what he hoped for. A skill that would help him face challenges as a fearless adventurer. Rewinding to the day he consumed the fruit, just before taking his first bite, Light and his group were approached by a nun. She explains to everyone that after eating the celestial fruit, each person will receive a unique ability to help them find work. However, she emphasizes that the ability isn't something they get to choose. On top of that, humans can only eat one celestial fruit in their entire life. Eating a second one is deadly. It leads to fatal poisoning. Despite stressing this rule, the nun shares that plenty of reckless people have attempted to eat a second fruit, and, as expected, didn't survive. To reassure them, she makes it clear that as long as they stick to eating just one fruit, they'll be safe. With everything laid out, Lena steps up to go first. She takes a bite of the celestial fruit and receives the rare Sword Saint ability, which instantly makes her an official adventurer. Overjoyed with her new skill, Lena returns to Light, brimming with excitement, hoping he'll also get a combat-related ability. With high hopes, Light steps forward for his turn. He bites into the fruit confidently, but the nun's expression quickly turns to disappointment. She announces that he's received the Fruit Master ability, which lets him boost harvest yields and reduce crop growth time. The news leaves Light stunned. He drops to his knees, crushed by the outcome, and begs for another chance. The nun firmly reminds him that eating another celestial fruit would mean certain death. Feeling hopeless, Light laments that his future is over. Lena, however, steps in to comfort him. She tells him she's willing to farm alongside him and that she never planned to leave him, even if he didn't get a combat. Instead, she suggests they work together to build a massive plantation. Her words, so full of warmth, are enough to put a smile on anyone's face. But the nun quickly cuts in, calling Lena's words ridiculous. She explains that a Sword Saint is incredibly rare, appearing only once a decade. As such, Lena has a duty to dedicate herself entirely to being an adventurer for the good of the nation. The nun informs her that she'll begin her journey by moving to the holy city immediately. Before being taken away, Lena turns to Light and promises to wait for him, no matter how long it takes. Back in the present, Light reflects on his current life as he walks back from a client's house. He realizes that while his ability is helpful, it's also limiting. It only works on fruits, leaving him unable to explore other ways to make money. As Light walks through the streets, he spots a poster of Lena announcing her promotion to rank S in record time. She's now a celebrated figure, admired especially by children who dream of becoming like her. This newfound success only makes Light feel more distant from Lena. Determined to change his situation, he decides to train with a sword on his own, hoping to one day become a respected adventurer like her. With that goal in mind, Light sets out to slice a tree trunk in half, believing that achieving this feat will finally prove he's worthy of calling himself a true adventurer. But despite his efforts, he can't even scratch the surface of the trunk, eventually collapsing to the ground in exhaustion. Just then, a girl named Ayla shows up. Light reveals that she was entrusted to him by the village chief, who had nowhere else for her to go and decided to leave her in his care. Yup guys, our protagonist's life just got even tougher. He's a dad now, out of nowhere, as viewers might joke. Since then, Light and Ayla have lived together, sharing chores and daily tasks. After returning home, Light chats with Ayla about the day's harvest, proud that everything went smoothly, especially with the skill fruits. He explains that he's been focusing on growing more of them since they sell for higher prices, which will help him finally buy the sacred sword he's been eyeing for a long time. Pointing to a box full of skill fruits he harvested, Light warns Ayla never to eat them, explaining they're extremely dangerous. However, Ayla gives him a startled look and admits that she used some of those fruits in the stew they're eating, thinking they looked delicious. Light immediately recalls the nun's warning: anyone who eats a skill fruit a second time will die from poisoning. Suddenly, he begins to feel the same heat he experienced when he first ate the celestial fruit. Unlike before, Light collapses to the floor, his vision blurred, but he reassures Ayla that it's not her fault. He should have explained the risk of the fruits more clearly. To his shock, instead of dying as expected, Light realizes he's still alive. Confused, he wonders why the poison hasn't killed him. Instead, he discovers he's gained a new ability, Sword God. Meanwhile, Ayla also feels a wave of warmth through her body and realizes she's acquired an evaluation skill, allowing her to access detailed information about anyone she looks at. Back to Light, he's eager to test his new ability right away. He heads back to the tree trunk he couldn't destroy before. This time, with one strike, he effortlessly splits the trunk in half, thanks to his Sword God ability. Not only that, but he also ends up cutting through a tree behind it. Feeling confident, he decides it's time to visit the guild and finally kickstart his life as an adventurer. When he arrives at the guild and sees the mission board on the wall, Light is blown away by the sheer number of rewards offered for capturing monsters. However, he mentions that he's not there just to grab jobs. His main goal is to figure out exactly how his new ability works and whether he can officially join the ranks of adventurer. If that's possible, Light hopes it will allow him to reunite with Lena someday. As he approaches the reception desk to have his ability evaluated, Light asks Ayla to wait for him on a nearby bench. While waiting, Ayla decides to use her evaluation skill to check out the stats of the people around her. She quickly notices that even though the place is packed with adventurers, Light is the only one with 2 abilities. As Ayla continues scanning, a guy named Gene bumps into Light and rudely starts complaining, saying he should watch where he's going. Light fires back, pointing out that Gene was the one who caused the collision, but Gene keeps pushing. He mocks Light, claiming that a real adventurer would have avoided such a simple mishap. Then, recognizing Light as the guy who sells fruits at the market, Gene scoffs, saying someone with the Fruit Master ability has no business being in the middle of their argument. Ayla walks over. Light momentarily ignores Gene to listen to what she has to say, which only fuels Gene's frustration. Feeling disrespected, Gene tries to attack Light, but Light swiftly draws his sword and blocks the strike with precision. Gene's friends step in, urging him to drop it and move on. After the confrontation, Light tells Ayla that he's secured his first job as an adventurer, and the two leave the guild. They head to an uninhabited area where they encounter an unexpected foe, Slime 2.0. Unlike the regular slimes, this one boasts significantly higher defense. Still, Light doesn't hesitate. He charges in and, with his new ability, defeats the enemy, claiming his first victory as an adventurer. Realizing he went overboard with his attack, Light reflects on the need to better manage his strength moving forward to avoid unnecessary trouble. Meanwhile, Gene and his group stumble upon a massive ogre, leaving Gene shaking with fear. One of his teammates scolds him, saying there's no time for whining. When the ogre launches its first attack, the group retreats and quickly realizes they stand no chance against such a powerful foe. At that moment, Light shows up. Seizing the opportunity, Gene and his crew flee, leaving the ogre behind to face Light. Despite the monster's seemingly invincible presence, Light draws his sword and charges in. However, he quickly remembers that even with his sword god ability, his physical defense hasn't improved. One wrong move could lead to instant defeat. Determined, Light recalls his promise to become the greatest adventurer of all time. With that in mind, he pours all his strength into the fight, knowing that proving his worth is the only way he'll reunite with Lena. In a decisive strike, Light takes down the ogre, slicing it clean in two. From a safe distance, Jean and his crew watch the scene unfold, completely dumbfounded by Light's strength. Back at the guild, Light hands over the items he collected from the slime and the ogre to the receptionist, asking to exchange them for money. Skeptical, the receptionist doubts a rookie could have defeated him. To her surprise, Jean's friends step in to confirm that Light indeed took down the monster. They recount how they witnessed the fight firsthand and how Light saved their lives. As they talk, Light and the others are interrupted by the arrival of Lena, now a celebrated Rank S Holy Party star. Seeing her, Light lights up with excitement and rushes over, certain she'll remember him. But to his dismay, Lena looks at him with indifference and says he must be mistaking her for someone else. She has no idea who he is. Looks like fame totally got to her head, huh? Forgot about her childhood friend, bro. But let's be real, she probably lost her memory or something like that. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel because I'll definitely keep bringing you more awesome videos. See you guys in the next one.